Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. We're back to looking at Earthrise toys this month, since I've finally been able to track down many of the Earthrise toys that I couldn't find in the final wave. For some reason, the stores just very seldom seem to have had any of them. But through a little bit of dumb luck and buying online and friends of the channel, we were able to finally get all of them. So now we're going to try to finish out the main Earthrise line this month, and a few other surprise figures as well. First up we're going to take a look at is the Target exclusive figure, Thrust. And of course, as I said, Thrust was an exclusive to Target stores. And he was obviously not being packaged in a lot, or he was just flying off the shelves really, really fast, because I could hardly ever find him. It was only by looking at one that was considerably far away from my home that I managed to actually find this one. He was the only one on the store shelves, and naturally I had to knock down some annoying sales guy wanting to sell me something I don't need to get to this figure. Note to any salespeople out there, if you're not selling me Transformers, stay the bleep out of my way. At any rate, Thrust is, of course, a Generation 1 figure. Here it is now. Thrust was one of the Seeker characters, as in one of the airplane figures that the Decepticons had, all under Starscream's command. In the Generation 1 cartoon, Thrust was shown to be a conehead, even though you can fold it down for the more traditional look. But since everybody remembers the cartoon so much well, for some reason, everybody remembers them as coneheads, so that's considered the proper way, but you don't really get that choice here on Earthrise Thrust. He's done as a straight conehead. But all in all, he will be. This new one is a considerable improvement over the G1 form. Mainly in the fact that we don't have near as many loose parts that this old one had. That was the problem with many of the old Seekers. 4 out of the 6 of them were notorious for having a ton of loose parts, and they are a bear to find on the secondary market today. At any rate, let's set old Thrust aside and we'll take a look here at new Thrust. Does capture all of the look of the old one, other than the fact that we really can't rotate the wings to be in the other position. But I guess that's okay. They got him in about the right spot, so I can live with that. And of course, if you're going to buy this toy loose, we'll take a look at his accessories. Probably move him out of the way so you can clearly see the gun. And of course, bear in mind, Thrust comes with 2 of these guns. Of course, knowing Hasbro, they're going simple on this and just claiming that all the jets are equipped with null rays, when in reality that was only Starscream that had null rays. All of them carried different ammunition for their guns. And of course, while he can hold them in his fists, the more traditional way is to have them mounted on his shoulders, as that's how they were always shown firing them in the cartoon. Let's take a look at Thrust's articulation now, and he had a fair amount of articulation going for him, just like the other Seekers do now. You can turn his head from left to right. It is a bit of a chore to get big fingers back there to do that. And it is on a small ball joint, so he will look up and down a bit. He can raise his arm at the shoulder, about so far. And his arm does rotate all the way. You will have to shift it around the wing, though, in order to get it to go all the way. His arm does bend at the elbow, roughly 90 degrees, with ease. And there is a swivel at the bicep. So Thrust also has some G.I. Joe-inspired battle grip. You really can't twist him here at the hips in robot mode. You can spread his legs apart about so far. He almost does a full splits. Plus you can twist his legs at the thighs for a little more articulation. You can raise his leg at the hip 90 degrees, and you can bend his leg at the knee just a little bit above 90 degrees. So as you can see, Thrust does have a fair amount of articulation going for him. All in all, quite an impressive figure. Okay, we're going to transform Thrust now, and it's pretty much similar to many of the other Seekers. Of course, we got to start by removing his guns. We raise his arms up a bit, because we're going to start by we loosen the fist so that we can raise up the forearm cover. We just shift the arm inward, then bring the cover back down, and fold the fist right on top of it. Gotta make sure it goes down all the way, snaps into place. Do that real quick here with the other arm. Alright. There we go. Now, of course, once you've done that, we've got to raise the back peel, get the back plate to separate. Now, the first thing we do before we get it totally separated is we get the nose up, fold it over his head, just like that. Then we get the whole back to fold down. Raise up the nose of the airplane, rotate it, and then fold it down and adjust it to secure it in place. Then we'll come here and we'll take his arms and we fold them inside like that. And then we bring this whole unit back up and snap it into place. And we're going to come down here to his legs. We pop open the covers so that we can fold his legs inwards. And kind of snap them together. And then attach them to the body. And we come down here, we're going to fold the leg covers up so they cover his hip plate. Turn him around and close up the feet. And then we take his wings, fold this section into the body, straighten them out to connect them to the fuselage. Just exactly like that. And then, of course, his guns can be attached here to the sides of his legs, like so. And there you have Thrust in his airplane mode. The Generation 1 version was meant to be a modified F-15 that used vertical takeoff and landing engines. And while this one doesn't exactly look like an F-15, due to licensing issues, it does bear some homage to the original toy. Especially with the fact that it does have the VTOL-style engines, so that makes Thrust a little more versatile out of all the other Seekers in the fact that he can take off and land anywhere. However, with how quickly they can transform between the different modes, it's kind of rendered moot. Of course, he does swoosh pretty good. And he does have a hole here on the top that a Battle Master can be put into to give Thrust some extra firepower. And of course, for comparison's sake, here is the Generation 1 version right next to him. So you can get a glimpse as to how the planes look alike, and yet don't. But all in all, it's still a relatively good-looking toy all around. Now we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of Thrust? Well, I like how the new toy is, because it is a nice, sturdy toy. Doesn't have all the annoying loose pieces that the original one did. And all in all, it does look pretty good. The biggest gripe that I have with it was making it an exclusive. The Seekers seem to be the ones that Hasbro wants to make exclusive for some reason, and unfortunately, since they all transform the same, there's really nothing special about it. Plus the fact that they're making the secondary ones more exclusive than the originals. But then again, just about all of them wound up being exclusives this time around. Only Starscream got an official retail release. Target got Thundercracker and Skywarp together, and they got Thrust here separately. Dirge and Ramjet were exclusive to Amazon. So, it is possible to get all of the Seekers, and I know there's going to be a handful of true G1 enthusiasts that are really going to want all of the Seekers, but it then comes down to finding them. And unfortunately, thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic that we all went through in 2020, finding a lot of the exclusives has been a pain. I've had questions on my Amazon account from people asking me if Hasbro's going to make more. So it's kind of, first of all, people, I don't work for Hasbro. I'm not affiliated with Hasbro in any way. This channel is not a part of Hasbro. Nor do I have connections to Hasbro. So, I can't tell you if they're going to make more of the Earthrise era exclusives or not. I would guess that they're not, simply because that's just how their company marketing usually is. They put them out for the selected period of time, and once that's over with, they're done. So that unfortunately means you may not get it from Amazon. You may have to go with eBay or other toy collection sites. But then again, if you go that route, you're probably going to pay more money. So, buyer beware, collectors. Try to track down the best deal that you can for any of these guys that are exclusive. But all in all, it's up to you yourselves to decide how badly you want it in your collection. I can't make that decision for you. And unlike what some jerk on this channel used to think, I don't give these toys away to people after I'm done. Not even if you demand it. I worked hard to earn these. I will decide what I do with them. And I know right now there's a fair amount of you that'd like to see my collection. I wish I had a proper way to display it. Unfortunately, it's spring cleaning season, so that's out of the question. Anyway, that concludes my review of the Earthrise Thrust. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please leave me a thumbs up here on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below and join the rest of us. Make sure you ring the bell, because we'll probably be posting videos at odd times this month, since we got quite a few to cover. I also ask that you share this video with your friends and fellow collectors. That's what helps this channel grow. And also share your thoughts about Thrust in the comments down below. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.